Proteins, carbs, and vitamins. Are you on a healthy, legal diet? Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandadnaikar. You might be wondering, what exactly does a healthy diet, one which is keto or paleo for that matter, has to do with your legal prowess or your academic capabilities? What I'm trying to parallel your intake of proteins, carbs, and vitamins is exactly how you apply the law, the facts, and your arguments to a fact pattern or essay-based question. Now, most of my fast track and masterclass students over the past several years have succeeded in their academics, be it in terms of the LLB, a master's or an LLM, or even PhDs, specifically by applying a set of rules that I have imparted on them. In order to explain this to a more broader audience, I thought of a mechanism that not only would be beneficial academically, but if you really think about it, also to your own personal well-being as well. Carbs, proteins, and vitamins. What do these all mean, at least from an examination, fact pattern, and an essay question format? First and foremost, you need to have a good balance of all of these elements in terms of food groups as well as in terms of an examination, the three components of an answer: the law itself, your substantiation through arguments, and the facts that you're applying this law and arguments to. More often than not, just like our own stability in terms of our food intake, we tend to go overboard in some and depreciate or devalue others. What I mean by this is, just like in our personal life, just like in terms of our well-being, in terms of an examination question, if you talk too much about the facts, which I would assess and parallel to carbs, such as sugars and starch, it's just going to make you lethargic, lazy, downtrodden, and you're just going to get overweight. And if we are not careful, obese. The same thing's going to happen to your examination question if you are overbearing in terms of the facts. From an examiner's standpoint, it's going to seem overfluffed, so to speak, in terms of a repetition of the facts that the question has presented to you. Sometimes, in terms of an essay-based question, it can be worse. It might simply be a narration of the theory that you've learned over the semester and nothing in terms of analysis or argumentative prowess. Similarly, if we have too much protein in our system and we don't have much in the way of carbs or in terms of sugars or starch or even vitamins, what that would lead to is an unhealthy balance in terms of strength to weight ratio. So what I mean by that from an examination standpoint is if we have too much law, which I equate to proteins, the examiner may simply feel that you have no idea about how it applies to the facts themselves. You are familiar or you are aware of what the question is asking you in terms of a fact pattern, but you don't necessarily know how to apply the law that you've learned. So you throw everything and the kitchen sink at the examiner, so to speak. Finally, from the perspective of your vitamins, something that you really need for your well-being, you need to take a lot of in one sense in order to be energetic, in order to show that you are capable of moving forward. You should also be somewhat reasonable and balance it out with your carbs and your proteins. From an examination and question standpoint, you can consider vitamins to be similar to your arguments. You need to balance it out to make sure that your examiner is aware that you have your own opinions, that you have an understanding of the material facts and how to essentially manipulate the law, so to speak, in order to get the best outcome for your client, especially if it is an advice-based question. However, if you're overbearing on your arguments, your vitamins, what that's going to indicate to the examiner is that you barely know the law. Yes, you've looked at the facts, but you have no idea how the law applies to it since it's a catch-22. You're unfamiliar with the law itself. So you're trying to bluff your way through by using some form of arguments that you think practically makes sense. To some extent, it may actually work, but it's definitely not going to take you above and beyond. You may pass, but you will not ace your examination. Right. This was a quick video to try and impress upon you the importance of balancing the law, the facts and arguments, just like we would try to balance for our well-being our intake of protein, carbs and vitamins. If you'd like the type of content that I make on this very YouTube channel, as well as the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on, make sure you subscribe to the Law Simplified. Do give a like and put a comment below if you feel that there's any other area in terms of your academics or career that you'd like me to go over. I would highly recommend having a look at the comprehensive online law school platform, complete with theory, tutorial and workshop lessons that I've conducted with my fast track and masterclass students over the past several years, who have gone on to achieve first-class law degrees globally. But until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.